Hello, welcome to Curatorial Knits. My name is Lily and I am an art curator and knitter based in Northern California, and this is my virtual knitting studio where I chat about all of the aesthetic choices that I make with my knitting practice. And I am so happy to be here today. It is Thanksgiving Day weekend here in the US, and I just feel really grateful for knitting and yarn and our whole crafting and making community right now. So that is where I am and what this day will be about for me. So I have a lot to get through, some really fun updates. I am launching a pattern today, which is super exciting. It's my second garment pattern, and we'll talk some about that. We'll talk about other patterns that are making their way onto my needles this holiday season, and a recap of two amazing yarn festivals that I went to this fall, both Rhinebeck, New York and Sacred Sheep in Portland, Oregon. There is quite a lot of acquisition chat and project planning that I'll get to at the end of the episode as well, and I'm really excited for everything we have to chat about today. So let's get into it. First things first, I am wearing my second version of the Color Compass Pullover. This is a circular yoke colorwork sweater that I designed this year, and the test is nearly done. My testers have done incredible pieces, and yeah, I'm just so delighted with the way this has gone. The pattern is now live, and there is a discount code in the description box below, along with a link that will take you straight there. The discount code is Color Compass 10, and that will get you 10% off the pattern, and both on Etsy and on Ravelry. And I really appreciate your guys' support. Even if you don't feel the urge to purchase the piece today, if you could just click the link, it would really help out a beginning designer like myself. I am so delighted with the second version of the piece. The first version I knit in Nutidin, an unspun yarn. I wear this all of the time. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It's so lightweight, it's so beautiful, and I was really keen to cast on another version using a more typical spun yarn in the second version. So this is my second version, is knit up in Sonder Yarn Co.'s Luxe Sport, Sunday Morning Luxe Sport, which is a really magical yarn. It almost reminds me of Nutidin in how adjustable it is to different gauges. And because it's a circular yoke sweater, your gauge is fairly, gauge is always important, but in this piece in particular, it's really a circular yoke designed for folks with wider square shoulders in mind. And so you split for sleeves quite a bit earlier. There is the option to keep knitting if you'd like to split later and finish the colorwork yoke before you split, if you'd like to do so. But I really love this construction because it really fits well and allows me a lot of movement in my upper body and arms while keeping the real kind of necklace and jewel-like display. It almost feels like a ballerina to me, the way that you're kind of, I always feel so open in these circular yoke constructions. So I love the way this yarn performed at this gauge. It's just magic. I'm just, yeah, it's been an incredible design process also to use such different yarns in the piece. And I'm going to talk a little bit about color now. So if you've been watching for a while, then you probably know that I love talking about color. It's probably the thing that compels me in the strongest directions when it comes to knitting and creating, and frankly, aesthetics in general. All of that said, it's also where I get the most questions from viewers and people coming onto my DMs and Instagram, comments here on YouTube, and even people just sending me emails. People are so curious to know about color combinations, and sometimes I feel like they really feel quite lost. And there is some of that color selection and color theory that I think is just reps and practice, and because I talk about color a lot in my professional life, it's something that I'm used to considering maybe, but there's a lot of it that is super easy to learn and can become incredibly intuitive. So as much as construction is always important to me, the real like motivating factor for putting together this pattern was this idea of finding direction with color. And that's why it's called the Color Compass. There are explicit instructions in the pattern about how to select the colors you want to use in the garment. There are also, I'm very indebted to my tester community for this, there are options for coloring sheets in the pattern as well. The coloring sheets are the Colorwork chart, very simply laid out in a Google Sheet. So it's a link within the PDF, and it takes you to a Google spreadsheet where you can see the where you can see the chart laid out in very simple terms. And within that, you can either print that out and use your own, colored pencils or markers to create a palette that you love, or you can use the conditional functioning format, which again, it's all right there in front of you, direct step-by-step directions on how to do that, to plug in different colors for different contrast colors. So once you do that, you can really see your design come to life before even swatching. And I just really want folks to feel empowered and excited about color as they work through this process. So within the pattern, there's the explicit instructions on how to achieve color balance according to the original garment here, and also to my second piece here. Then there's also those coloring sheets, and I kind of went I went a little beyond what I even had thought of as well, because in addition to both of the pieces are written for 5 colors, 1 main color and 4 contrast, but I also created those coloring sheets for 4 colors overall, 3 colors overall, and even 2 colors overall. So the world is your oyster. I absolutely cannot wait to see how people discover, explore. The metaphors just keep coming to me. The whole universe of color is really open to people to kind of find their way through with this pattern. And I really, really invite folks to have that sense of play. It's a great place to try out new combinations. It's also a really fun place to play with yarns that come as a set. So whether that's an advent or even just a gradient, I think could be really, really beautiful as well. All of that is laid out in the pattern. Color Compass, it's live, it's on Ravelry, and I am super, super excited to share it with you. And I also want to acknowledge too that it really came from this community. This design is a response for my viewers and the people who have sent me all of those DMs and made all of those comments. This is really for you all. So I really, really appreciate your support, and I'm very excited to share this piece with the world. I will say there's another bonus in the pattern. In addition to the coloring sheets and the different color combination outlines, there's one more example that is a little out there, but I just had to put in. Just a second. And this gets me to my first WIP. One of the most kind of exciting yarns I came across at Sacred Sheep was not something I ever expected to buy, and I almost walked away without it. There's a yarn company called Peninsula Yarns, which is based here in the Bay Area and on the peninsula, and I had never heard of them. I will be very honest. came across the booth at Sacred Sheep and was blown away. Incredibly sophisticated, delightful palette of really high quality yarns. Also a lot of wool and cotton blend yarns, which I think is really an amazing niche to get into. And then her alpacas were just gorgeous. And so the first thing that I walked into and out of the shop with is this incredible fingering yarn. This is a 75 superwash and 20% nylon and then 5% gold stellina. So I'm not sure how those kind of sparkly bits will come through, and there you can kind of see it on camera. It is absolutely stunning, and this beautiful neutral is called taupe, and I'm gonna hold it with the Surrey to make I'm thinking maybe a plain version of the Color Compass, just a circular yoke, kind of elegant, oversized version. So that's what I was absolutely blown away by. I have to say my mom clocked this, and the colors she chose are equally just stunning. I think it's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful piece. Very excited about that. Then as I was checking out, the delightful human who was checking me out pulled up the last, I kind of feel bad for even doing this, but apparently it was the last mini skein set of their holiday kit colors. And I just looked at her and I said, can I buy that one? And I think that she wanted to keep it for herself, but she very, very kindly said yes. And I am so, so glad that she did, because I have made a new, slightly altered chart set for the Color Compass Holiday Edition. That's right, that's right. It's a glittery Christmas sweater edition of the Color Compass, and I could not be happier. I really wanted to be done with this last section. You can see my little trees here have replaced the straight arrows here, and then the main section, which is this compass rose in the original pattern, I have made just a much more standardized snowflake pattern for the Christmas version. I have kept this section here, which I felt like kind of looked like Christmas ornaments anyway, these little kind of baubles, and I love them and I'm obsessed with them. So that has stayed the same. And then the lead-in, and I will say this lead-in really is taken from the folks who might remember, I made a sheep camp sweater 3 years ago, and instead of just doing 2 colors, I ended up doing 3 colors within the pattern itself. And to make the transitions between those color changes, I did this 1x1 color work, and that transition space I think was really the impetus for starting here and then ending here as well on the Color Compass. I don't know why that's necessary to say, but I do think that it was a really cool moment for me when I first started thinking about what I wanted to do in order to add in that 3rd color. And I thought, oh, I need to create this kind of 1x1 pattern that then swaps in and out. And of course, like everyone, it's in so many patterns everywhere. Creabea's Kintra, I think, is all 1x1. So it's very, very doable, but using it as that transition into and out of the color work is one of the things that I think made that other piece really effective, even though it was a pretty significant modification. Anyway, these charts are also linked in the PDF of the pattern. So if you would like a really, really delightfully potato chippy, incredibly Moorish color work Christmas sweater, I couldn't recommend it more. And I love all my versions of this. It has been so much fun, so easy to wear, and I'm just delighted to share it with everyone. And again, big shout out to Peninsula Yarn Co. You know, nothing gifted or anything. I just really, really loved seeing this creativity. And again, this like incredibly beautiful, sophisticated palette of sparkle fun yarn. And it's just such a delight. I am really excited to polish that off. Like I said, I wish I had finished the snowflakes for y'all before I filmed, but I had an incredible holiday full of family and dog energy. It just did not happen. But it will be soon, and stay tuned because I do want to film in just a couple weeks, so I'll be able to share that with you guys then as well. I think that's all the Color Compass chat. A couple people had reached out about doing a knit along or even a course about color selection around the launch. I won't be able to do that until probably the new year, but if that is something that you are interested in, please do comment below because I would love to track those comments and to find a appropriate way to do that. So if that's interesting to you to do a knit along that would have some sort of kind of course component where we talk about color in really explicit ways, I'm feeling that out because it's something that's come up a couple different times, and I think this could be a great vehicle for it. So please let me know if that strikes a chord in a good way. Next up, I am going to chat about the kind of, I'll chat festival for sure, both Rhinebeck and New York Sheep and Wool. But I also want to talk about WIPs, and I'm not going to do a whip down. I'm going to wait till the next filming to do a whip down, which I'll do in December. But I am going to chat a little bit about what I talked about last time, which was how I felt like I really needed a easy, fun, like chill brain knit time. And yeah, I think some of the options that I brought up were not that. Like the boho strictly, where I was like, oh, this will be so easy to follow along and use size 1 needles, and like, what was I thinking? Just a real interesting flow of my brain there. But I do have a couple really fun whips that are new to me, and I'm excited, so I want to chat about them. The first I cast on in Rhinebeck with fun new Rhinebeck yarn, and this is not that, sorry. Sorry, just one second. Oh, here it is. In my lovely Bed of Roses bag, which now one of my fabulous viewers has a fun one of. Okay, so I saw some really fabulous folks knitting away in some of the chill downtime in upstate New York, and almost everyone, to a person, was knitting a sock. And again, those of you who've been back through the catalog and have like been with me throughout will know that the first time and last time I ever knit a sock, I knit it at a crazy open gauge. My knitting was just like super loose. I didn't really understand gauge as well, and frankly I made a sock that could maybe fit Shaquille O'Neal. It was giant. So I haven't even attempted sock knitting since, but I had the great support of my friend Megan, and I found some beautiful sock yarn at Woolen Affair, which was held this year back at the Hutton shipyards, and it was, or brickyards. It was so incredibly beautiful, stunning. I will put in a bunch of footage from the trips at the end of this video so you guys can kind of get a sense of it. It was so much fun, and that day, it was probably one of my favorite days of the year by far. just the whole experience from the very beginning to the very end was just incredibly beautiful and healing. One of the very first things that happened when I arrived is a really incredible viewer and test knitter of mine ran into me and handed me some tea and a beautiful handwritten note. And just, that was like just the tip of the iceberg. It was just the first part of the day, and everything really flowed from there. It was just very, very special, and I feel really, really grateful for the opportunity to be with my community in that special way. And speaking of special, the yarn that I got to make socks also felt very meant to be. This is Coast to Coast Yarn Co.'s sock yarn, and it is in the Anne of Green Gables, what was it called? Collection? Yeah, Anne of Green Gables collection, and I got Christmas at Green Gables, and look at how beautiful this is. I'm so excited. I'm using the Hermione's sock pattern, so it has a little bit of broken, basically like a little broken rib texture to it, and I'm thinking that is really going to help this keep its shape. I'm still worried that it's too big, but I'm knitting it on size 1 needles. I'm like doing my very best, keeping pretty tight gauge, I think. And yeah, this is just a great pick up, put down article. And I also got these incredibly beautiful little stitch marker charms that I adore, adore, adore. They're so cute. There you go. So much fun. And I got this in Amy Shear's booth, who's an incredible designer, and I test knit her Anne's puff sleeves top a few years ago. So that felt really fun and like full circle moment, and I got to chat with her and connect, and that was a really, really beautiful thing too. So wish me luck. I'm very excited to have socks in the new year. I'm giving myself no sort of deadline around that. I'm happy to have this be like a consistent WIP, and I'll get to it when I get to it. And it's perfect for travel, i.e. why everyone else was doing it. So that was super fun. And then so both of my new cast-ons were purchases like made and cast on at the events where I purchased the yarn. So then the next one I am super delighted with. Sorry. I'm making the Rosie sweater. I'm just doing it. As soon as I saw the design, I thought, okay, I should totally make that. I would wear it the heck out of it. Plus, I'd never done a drop shoulder colorwork design, and it is kind of a drop shoulder, but it also has some raglan. Like the construction is very interesting, and it's worth just kind of checking out the construction of the piece. And I'm just zipping through it. I knew that for sure I wanted to cast it on when I saw this color at Sacred Sheep. This is by Wandering Flock. And again, I think this will be the 4th sweater that garment I've made with Wandering Flock yarn. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite mohairs in the world. This color is called Petal, and it is the like quintessential ballet pink. Incredibly light pink with a real kind of sophisticated kind of steel gray cool tone to it. I love it. And so this is my main color. And then my contrast color, also Wandering Flock. This is called Washed Black Jeans, and that's exactly what it is. And I'm holding it with a incredible pairing. I could not find the corresponding mohair for this, but Pearl Soho was having a sale, and so I snagged some of their tussock mohair, and it is just a 1-for-1, like perfect fit. So this is going to go on. I'm getting very close to where the color work starts. Sorry, this is kind of all bunched up, so it's very hard to see, I'm sure. And I don't have the collar on yet, but basically here we are. And then my roses are gonna be dark, dark gray. And I'm super excited. I think it's like, it's gonna be a very kind of rock and roll rosy vibe because it's pink, but it's not like pink pink. Does that make sense? Anyway, I'm super excited about it. And I think it'll be really, really fun, kind of like a little Christmas. Hopefully I'll be done by the new year and it'll be great to wear in the new year, I think, because it's warm and cozy, but it also has that floral effect. And frankly, just will look great with black jeans. I'm really excited about that piece. And so those are my two current WIPs besides my Christmas sweater, which frankly, I cast this on like 3 days ago, you guys. It is so fast. It is super, super fast and super, super fun. So I know that this will just kind of whiz by and I'm like, yeah, not worried / very excited to actually be wearing this very soon. And I am knitting this. I should say that this is in their fingering yarn. So I went up a size in the garment. So this is, and I will also say I have knit, this is the size 2 garment. I've knit the size 3 garment is the original for the Color Compass, and it has a little bit more ease. And then this is actually the size 4, but I am getting a smaller gauge because I'm using fingering weight yarn. Though, I think you could get I went down in needle size, but I don't think it would be too floppy, this Peninsula fingering yarn. It's got a lot of structure to it. I don't know where she's sourcing her yarn, but this is not your standard fingering merino. Also, of course, the Stellina threads in it, I think, do add that body a little bit too. So that was really, really fun. And I think you could get the correct gauge too with just a fingering. And I certainly did with the Sport. This is right on gauge. I started to get a little bit tighter and then I loosened up. So that's something to always be aware of too, guys. Make sure you keep checking your gauge as you go because that can change really quickly even from your swatch, and particularly knitting in the round at different circumferences. That was something that came up a couple times in the test. So word to the wise on that one. Now, what should I talk about next? I guess it's acquisition time and planning time. And I can talk a little bit more about Rhinebeck and my plans because I have a lot of plans and I just, I have so much I want to make, you guys. I went a little bit overboard at both festivals. I'll admit that too. I had no need to, but I really did. Okay, so we'll start with New York Sheep and Wool. And usually I would do this with Megan, who is my partner in crime and who actually still has, like, the last day we went to Jill Draper again and she still has my yarn. So I will not be talking about a whole slew of sweaters. I think I bought I bought 2 sweater quantities there. So we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that at another date. But for now, we will start with, so anyway, I was gonna say that usually I would do this with her, but because of the holidays, this was really the only day I could just flip on the camera and go. So I'm just gonna go for it, and maybe she'll come on and talk in the new year and we can project plan together. Wouldn't that be so fun? Because she is the best planner. She has an incredible, she's doing this whole Elizabeth Zimmerman knitting almanac year, and it's been so fabulous to watch. I will link her Instagram down below. You guys should totally follow along. And yes, that is what we will do. We'll try to do a like 2026 knitting plans video. I think that would be really fun. Okay, so I'm gonna start with talking through day 1 of the Rhinebeck excursion and event, which started at a woolen affair, which was back at this magnificent space and was truly, truly magical all day. Affair. I was greeted, as I mentioned, by an incredible viewer. I saw, I think, like 50 or 60 people who we connected through either Instagram or here on YouTube, and it was incredibly fulfilling, and I really, really appreciated the community energy and just getting to know folks in this different way, and of course seeing so many beautiful sweaters in real life. It just is so transformative and really, really good fun. So we'll start with what I purchased at a Woolen Affair. Wandering Flock was there as well, so I guess this is a very easy transition. I love, as you know, I love all of my garments made with the Wandering Flock yarn, and they had this very, very beautiful speckle on a light base that's called Driftwood, and it has a little bit of blue and brown and ochres, and I'm gonna hold it with their mohair, which, as you guys know, this and the Sonder mohair are just my two faves in the entire universe, and that is gonna be a stunning, stunning sweater, and I can't wait to cast it on. I might cast this on Christmas Eve. Be a really fun one. So that is one. And then I got the sock yarn from Amy, also at a Woolen Affair, but I was still feeling the sock vibes. And I loved the Explorer Knits booth. Is just so, so gorgeous, and I thought these were both really, really beautiful sock yarns. So, you know, giving myself permission. They're basically, this is You Do Not Yield, and this is Fire, and they're both on her Denali sock, which is an 80/20 merino nylon. There we go, gorgeous. The light is fading, but I think we can handle it, and this is pretty, there it goes. That is spot on. Oh, isn't that just gorgeous? I love, 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 love. So that was a fun purchase as well. I think that might have been it. You know, Megan might have something else that I bought there. Oh, shoot, there's something else I have to share that I bought there. That was like the main thing I bought at a Woolen Affair. Okay. Please hold collar. I will be right back. So this was the major purchase of the day, and it will be maybe challenging to see on screen, but it is a giant black floppy bag, and I love it so much. This is from the Redesign Project, and it's made with repurposed leather hides, and I really, 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 really love it. It has these short handles and then big floppy handles. I spent the day in Manhattan for 2 days after the Rhinebeck experience in upstate New York, and I was trotting around Soho with this, and I have to say I felt very, very chic. It is absolutely beautiful, you know, off hours ballerina vibes. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous bag. And I will say too, for the quality and the size of the piece, it's not insane, and I really, really recommend it. It's just gonna be a workhorse bag, and I'm so glad I got it. I did obsess over the purchase and took me about a half an hour to decide between the black and the brown. And part of that was because I was thinking of this sweater, but for the most part, I wear cool tones, and so I felt like the black was the way to go, which is what I did. The other bag that I purchased that day is this amazing project bag. I absolutely adore it. So, so special. It's from, let me say this correctly, Tanny Casey, and all of the fabrics are naturally dyed. It's plain blue on the back, and it's the perfect sweater size for me, and has these great, very industrial pockets, and I just love it. It's, again, the perfect size. I carded this all around Rhinebeck weekend. I've carded it all around to multiple soccer games and basketball practices and swim teams and all sorts of things in the last few weeks, and it has just held up beautifully. It still looks absolutely brand new and I love it. I highly recommend grabbing one if you can or see them again. Let me see if there's anything else I did that day. I think, yes, I think that was about it. And then so that was Friday, and then on Saturday at the Rhinebeck Sheep and Wool event itself, I will admit I got pretty overwhelmed. I was wearing my Andrea Mowry Ooey Gooey sweater, and that was really fun. And then when I went to the hill to kind of see everyone, and this is just me, I got very like overstimulated and I had to leave. So, and I'm someone who's like the biggest people person extrovert ever, but for some reason it was just like kind of too much. I'll put in a photo maybe here so you can see what I mean. It just felt, I felt like it went from being able to kind of see and recognize everyone to just feeling like you were part of, like it was hard to see any sort of individuality. I don't know. This, and if you were there and you were super digging it, I love that. And I think it's really fabulous. It could have just been where I was on my own, like, you know, I also hadn't eaten lunch yet, so that could have definitely impacted things, but I was like not into that part of it for whatever reason this year. But I loved seeing other people in the sweaters and having those connections, and I thought that was really, really special. I just wasn't feeling like I needed or wanted to be a part, like in it and surrounded by it. But I took a picture of everybody else in it and surrounded by it, and that made me super, super, super happy. In terms of purchases at Rhinebeck, I didn't do a ton. I went to Fiber MacGyver and I got this fabulous Surrey silk. This is in a very similar color to the cardigan that I made, the turtle dove cardigan, which I wear all the time. And it turns out this color is like absolutely my friend. I really, really enjoy wearing it. And so I was talking to Carmen and to Fiber MacGyver herself, and we were talking about how we wanted to make these like open lacy tees, and that's what Carmen had made hers in. And so I completely jumped on the bandwagon and grabbed 2 skeins to make myself a lacy tee in it. I'm very stoked about that. And then as we perused, I was very excited to see the Holland Hoof Farm Store, who make the most extraordinary buttons. So last time I went button shopping with Dusty's Vintage Buttons, and that is also a total joy. And these buttons are, for the most part, ceramic, but they also had this incredible antler horn, which I love and cannot wait to put on a giant gray cardigan. That was the idea. And then these navy ones I also really, really loved. And these are ceramic buttons, and they just feel good. That like, yeah, they just feel perfect. So, giant gray cardigan, you say? That was on my list. I was about to leave. I was kind of feeling done for the day, and Megan said, we should really check out Flying Fibers. I heard them talk on a podcast recently. I was like, cool, whatever, I'm along for the ride. Oh my Lord, this booth, truly unreal. I still had not bought my gray yarn, and like my gray oversized cardigan yarn, and I saw this. Look at the drape. It is 70% alpaca, 30% blue-faced Leicester. I started squeezing it. I couldn't really believe it. And then, of course, the woman says, well, you know, the alpaca where we were getting, the farm where we were getting our alpaca from, they're just not, they decided it wasn't something they wanted to do anymore. So bye-bye alpacas. This is the last of it. You know I had to do it, folks. You know I had to do it. So there's nothing like a little bit of scarcity that makes you think this is the one for me. But truly, what a yarn combination. Flying fibers, just incredible artisans and shepherds. It's just amazing. I really encourage you to check them out. And yes, I'm very, very excited. I got all of the last of the yarn from this incredible, incredible producer. So I'm very excited about this project. I think it's gonna be the same as the blue Curator cardigan that I have been working up. So it's gonna take a little bit more time and energy and space, but that is okay. And the rest of the yarn purchases were at Dale Draper, and as I said, that's a story for another day. I have already talked you through a few of the Sacred Sheep purchases. Sacred Sheep was a frickin' delight. Just so beautiful, really contained, small, really, really happy. I loved the energy. It was really fun. We talked about the Peninsula Yarns Christmas bundle. We talked about the Peninsula Yarns sophisticated sparkle that I'm very excited about. I also do acknowledge that these two things are kind of doing the same thing, but I'm okay with that because this is a really beautiful weight that I love wearing and I'm very excited for. I got this beautiful Ritual Dyes project bag, which is now holding my Rosie sweater at Sacred Sheep. I also purchased some, we talked about the Wandering Flock, and my other purchases were kind of fun and out there. So this was this beautiful Ritual Dyes Faye, dark maroon, was part of our welcome bag. And then I went to the Starlight Knitting Society and they had this incredible sparkle yarn to hold with stuff. And it's red with these little green sparkle flowers. How perfect is that for a quick holiday project? I'm very excited about this. I'm just gonna make a very simple triangle scarf. It will go with navy perfectly and black and anything else you wanna throw at it. Teal would be really beautiful, obviously. And yeah, turn anything into a little holiday sparkle moment. So that's super, super fun. And then what else did I grab? Oh, that's right. I got for my delightful niece who requested a sweater and is 4 years old. She told me she wanted it to be pink or purple or pink and purple. And I was very happy to see that I can make her dreams come true. Is this not like incredible? The color is Mystic Violet. It's this kind of giant bouncy DK weight, and I'm gonna make her her own quick curator sweater based on the one I made. The very first one I made, which was for my son, which was the little version, just to test out the idea. So that's gonna be a super fun project I am very excited about. And then the last thing, there's so much fun stuff that they just kind of threw in here as giveaways. It's so cool. We got another piece of this full skein of woolen, 2 full skeins of this woolen folk yarn, a really, really pretty swanky sock mini from Magpie Fibers, just like so much really fun stuff. But the thing that I really kind of went for is my friend, seeing my friends in real life who live across the world at Rhinebeck was so special. And one of the things that happened was I got to try on all their sweaters and they got to try on all my sweaters, and it was a total joy. And Carmen from Knitting a Good Yarn had on the most amazing full matching like knitwear suit, skirt and top, and I did not write down, I know the skirt is my favorite things knitwear's skirt number 1. I forget the name of the sweater, but it's a very loose cable, like a center cable down the middle. And I tried on the outfit and it fit amazingly, and her version is absolutely stunning. She did it in Gilead. It's a thick mama jama. It's like a really, she described it as super fast, kind of fly off the needles outfit. And I just figured I need the exact same thing. So I'm not making mine in the beautiful kind of ochre, dark brown, yellowy, amazing autumnal vibes, but I have bought all of the Gilead for it. It is of course gray, because apparently that's just where I am right now. And I have gotten a little, I'm not sure which of the gray mohairs I'm going to use with it. So I did get the kind of Bernice, but I also, because it was on sale, when I got the tussock from Pearl Soho for my Rosie, I got a ton of it because I just figured, you know, gray mohair on sale, yes please. And I think this actually goes really well also, and it's a little darker and it'll make more of a kind of marl feeling to it. So I'm gonna swatch with both of these, but I am very excited, and I think this will be a great thing to be wearing in January and February, trotting around the Bay Area. I'm very excited about that. So some tall black boots, yes, yes. Very stoked. So that's a lot of things I've put on my own plate, but they are all bringing me so much joy just talking about them. And I will tell you guys, I have been very stressed. This has been a very challenging fall. I have been really, really stretched, and, you know, doing what I feel compelled to do has been really challenging in some environments, and that's been really, really hard. And I have to tell you, honestly, I was not going to film right now. I was sitting on the back porch worrying about lots of other things happening, and I am so, so glad that my family said, just go up, do it now, use the light that you have, just take an hour, make it happen. I am really, really grateful to them for giving me that support, because I was really worried that this was not going to be perfect. Megan wasn't here. I wasn't going to be able to do my full recap. I wanted to be sure to include her. I wanted to include all sorts of things that I'm sure I forgot, and you know, I was worried about my battery running out. I just had this huge list of reasons not to do this right now, and I am so grateful that I just had the support to keep feeding what is giving me ambition and drive and making me feel seen in the world. So I will close the way I almost always close, which is an invitation to you to keep putting yourself out into the world with every stitch that you make, with every post that you put out, with every compliment that you give each other and give yourself. And I know that this time of year and this time of life for some of us, particularly those of us with caregiving and work responsibilities, I just want to say I am holding space for you, it can be really, really challenging to make that time, whether it's carving it out for exercise or carving it out for your creativity or carving it out. It will mean that other things don't happen, and that's okay. You know, that is just gonna be the way that it is, and it's okay to say that. And I'm telling this to myself as well as offering the invitation and the support and the space to others, because I do really want to say that we are continually prioritizing ourselves, and it's also modeling for our kids how to do that too, or for our parents creating that as well. So, or whatever family member or relative or friend, whatever space caretaking takes for you. I think it's really important too to acknowledge all of those different ways in which we care for each other, and I hope that they go beyond the expected familial as well. I'm so glad I did this. Thank you guys so much for being here. Color Compass, your guide. I really hope that you love it and enjoy it. It does have these kind of fun puff sleeves, which I realized I didn't really give purchase to, but I will put more information below. Y'all are the best. Thank you, thank you. Please be open in the comments and be kind to yourself and others, and keep putting yourself out into the world. It is a better place because you do. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you next time, hopefully in just a couple weeks, with some Christmas knits and potentially a quick 12 days of Christmas knit along for the beginner's welcome hat. So that's a little teaser that I just thought of right now. I think we should do it, don't you? Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.